The weather's been really bad the last few days, so I haven't been able to get outside very much. So here's some thoughts from yesterday and today. So just a little thought for today's vlog as I'm going along. I think I'm trying to build up my business again, which I'd done for a few years and had reached a level of certain burnout for a while. And it just occurred to me, which seems strange because obviously the theory is known, it just occurred to me that all I need to do is to put out into the universe the stuff that I'm wanting to help people with, which will eventually help, hopefully help me make some money, but just to put it out there and then come back to alignment, to come back to being aligned with my message, to come back to being aligned with source. Because at the end of the day, that is what is important. I found myself putting videos out, producing stuff, and then waiting for the responses to come in. And that's my human design element of myself, the responder, because I'm a generator in human design. But that's not what brings in the results. The results are putting it out there, coming back to self, coming back to alignment, to now, to present. And then the universe will take care of the rest. Thoughts for the day. Good morning to you. So it is Wednesday the 9th. I got up quite late today. You'll see why here. Okay, so it's 10:14 on Wednesday morning, and I just woke up because I couldn't sleep until about 3:15 this morning. The other half went out with a friend for dinner, ended up in a pub, and he didn't get home till 3 o'clock. And of course, I didn't know where he was, so I was worried. He doesn't have a mobile phone, so I stayed up until he got home. So I got my allotted 7 hours, which is good. And I'm just going to get up and then I'm going to do a quick meditation. And yeah, so it was a late night for me, not through choice. And that little, let's call it an incident, that little time this morning, early this morning, got me thinking about obviously about negative thought, because this manifestation experiment is all about cleaning up those emotions. And what happened is that, ridiculously, to be honest, my mind went to the worst case scenario. I imagined the worst happening, which is silly. Well, it's kind of not silly, because had we still been living in the city, it would have been fine, because obviously the city never sleeps. There's always somewhere to go. My partner went out for dinner with a friend last night, and in the city there's always a bar to go, and it's always, there's somewhere open 24/7 in the city, in Hamburg, that is, in the north of Germany. Where we live now, the last bar usually closes latest around midnight. So I was expecting him kind of home maybe 1 o'clock, 2:30, something, 1:30. And when he didn't come home, my mind started going, oh my God, we live, the town's on a river. So I was, oh my God, he's falling in the river, or he's tripped over and banged his head. All these ridiculous scenarios I was making up in my head, which I know were ridiculous. It doesn't help that he doesn't have a mobile phone, but it is what it is. And I had to really clean that up. And I did clean that up in the night. So the way that I cleaned up that emotion, and this is really important, because cleaning up emotion when you're starting to spiral into some negative thinking is an important part of manifestation. So what I did was I started to clean that up in terms of, talking myself out of it. There was a bar that I thought he probably was in, because it's one that does stay open a little bit later. It's not a very nice bar, but it does stay open later. And I started to talk myself out of that negative thinking. I talked myself out of the feeling that something bad had happened, because it is, and you know, making up things in your head is just silly. It wasn't an instinctual feeling either. I knew that I could differentiate the difference between an instinctual feeling and an instinctual or intuition thoughts and an actual just human spiraling. So I taught myself out of that. I also then put in some gratitude. So I wrote down a few things. You know, I'm grateful that I even have somebody in my life that I can worry so deeply about, because isn't that a great thing? And you know, just grateful for the person that he is such a caring and loving person. You know, when he's had a few drinks, he's also still just as loving and caring as when he is sober, which is not always the case with people. So I wrote down a few gratitude points around that, and I eased myself just about into sleep when actually he came home. So I went down and found out where he was, and we had a little chat, and it turned out actually that the barmaid in the bar was our neighbour who we'd not actually met before, with just to say hello to. So he got talking to her. A perfectly innocent, reasonable explanation, obviously. So, and then usually I like to get up early so I can get up and we can have breakfast together. He starts work at 9 o'clock. He works from home. He starts work at 10 o'clock, but he works from home. But I allowed myself to get the sleep that I needed, because part of manifestation is also getting enough sleep. You need to get enough sleep in order to be energized, in order to be not thinking about how tired you are is one thing. So I allowed myself to sleep in. And yeah, then I've just done my meditation right now. So I'll just tell you about how the meditation went. It wasn't a great meditation, I have to say. The time went very quickly, so sometimes that's a good sign. I set my timer for 20 minutes, and I started off by just focusing on my breathing. I did actually bring my headphones up to plug in to do like I've got a white noise app, which sometimes is helpful. You can pick things like an air conditioner sound or just a fan going, something like that. But I forgot to bring up the adapter from downstairs for the phone and headphones, so I did it without that. So I was focusing on my breathing. And I heard this really great technique online recently, that if you find your mind going into this endless chatter, you can actually ask yourself the question, I wonder what my next thought will be. And that instantly clears your head, because you're kind of waiting for a thought to come, and it never comes. It does come eventually, but then you can just re-ask yourself the question. So I did that a few times, and that actually helped. But I did find that I spent a lot of my meditation kind of thinking about what I was going to put together for this vlog for today. So I didn't really beat myself up about it. I just let those thoughts come. And when I noticed that I was thinking about them, I just refocused back on my breathing. And I had to do that 10 times, and that is okay. You know, the misconception with meditation is that you have to sit and clear your mind and, you know, you be one with the universe and totally zen, and that's not how it is. The human mind is very difficult to shut up, and I have it's an interesting thing I've seen recently that a lot of people don't have this, but I have an inner narrator that narrates constantly. The narration in my mind is going constantly. On the same side of things, I can actually visualize really well, because I heard recently that actually if you have an inner monologue, you don't visualize very well, but I can do both. So if anybody can tell me in the comments what that means, I'd be really interested. So just bringing my focus back to the breath, I was able then to calm those thoughts, let them drift by. They did come back again, but that's okay. I haven't done meditation for a while now, so it does take practice to sort of, you know, it takes practice to allow yourself to allow that chatter to dissipate while you're meditating. So I'll keep doing it. It's fine. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Yeah, so that's how the meditation went. It went well because I allowed it to be exactly what it was. I didn't put any I didn't put any preconceptions on it. I didn't want it to go a certain way. I was just allowed it to be what it was. My intention in that meditation was, I'm open to receiving any messages from source. That was just it. I don't think I actually received any messages from source, and that's fine as well. So it's going to be a shorter vlog today, because basically what I got planned today is I'm just going to ease into the day now. Going to have some breakfast, going to just enjoy eating, enjoy having a cup of tea, and then I'm going to start planning my Etsy products again, because I did actually start an Etsy shop. I did some designs. I wasn't entirely happy with them, so I took them down again. I wasn't feeling the passion behind the designs. So, and then in one meditation a few weeks ago, I actually had a great idea for some designs which really sits better with me, because it has to light your fire. It has to make you feel good. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start planning some designs for that. And before I started filming, I did actually pull an oracle card again. And the one I pulled today is this one, the first chakra, which is the Archangel Michael, which is really interesting because it's funny on the camera, because actually I have been listening to a really cool podcast, Next Level Soul, I think it's called. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And Archangel Michael keeps popping up. Now I don't know whether I believe in angels and all that kind of thing, but the messages that these people, these channelers, bring through are really, really interesting. And up he pops here. So I'm just going to read you the description in the book. So Archangel Michael holds a beautiful globe of red energy at the first chakra. So that's the one, that's the root one right at the bottom of your spine, in your sort of genital area, which is located at the base of the spine. So this is the place where, I'll just turn the page with one hand, I'm holding the camera with the other. This is the place where your sense of stability and security is stored, which is an interesting card to pop out based on what was happening this morning. When this card is upright, it reveals that your energy is flowing freely regarding these issues. So that really, for me, is a confirmation that I managed to clean up that energy during the night when I put focus to it, when I was waiting for him to come home. Even if you've had problems with feeling secure in the past, these challenges are beginning to resolve at this time. Archangel Michael is with you, bringing you strength and personal stability. You are capable of taking action and moving forward on your path, so allow yourself to feel increasing faith in your own power and security now and always. That's a really interesting card to pop out after last night's events. And actually, just a final note, that really also reflects something I was feeling yesterday, where I was thinking about my YouTube channel and, okay, it's getting some hits, it's getting some views, it's reaching some people, but I'm really feeling myself lacking the momentum that I want it to have. And I had to pull that back again. I had to pull that back to center and say, it's not about getting the views and the momentum and everything going that I see other people getting. It's about coming back to center and knowing and trusting in the process that the universe is gonna show it to the people who need to see it. So if you're seeing this, the universe wants you to see it. And I need to come back to center and just allow those feelings of frustration and those feelings of insecurity, and just focus on transmuting them into love, transmuting them into something more positive. So there's my vlog for today. I'm going to work on my Etsy stuff, and I'll let you know when some of that's finished. If you're interested, have a look at that podcast that I mentioned below. I'll put the link in the comments, and let me know how your manifestation is going, how your journey is going, and did that oracle card hit home for you too. So have a great day. See ya.